what's involved here. First of all, with respect to the matter of assessment purpose, the questions that one must address in this case is, who is going to use the assessment results in any particular context, and how are they going to use those results? That is, to do what? To inform what decisions? And as a result, then, what kind of information must the assessment yield in order to fulfill its intended purpose? Now, in this case, we also, in the service of student involvement, want to constantly ask the question during the learning, are our assessments meeting students' information needs? Because it turns out they're important data-based instructional decision makers too. Now, it happens, to fill in a bit more detail about this matter of purpose, that there are at least two different kinds of purposes that any particular assessment might fulfill. It might, for example, be used in the classroom by a teacher to support learning. In our parlance at the Assessment Training Institute, we call these assessments for learning, and they address the question, how can we use the assessment process and its results to help students learn more? We contrast this from what we call assessment of learning, which asks the question, how much have our students learned up to this point in time? Our point is that both of these are important. We use assessment to support learning or to verify learning, but in any particular instance, we need to know which purpose is in play. In addition, in our advocacy of the creation of balanced assessment systems, we hold that assessments can serve both those formative and summative purposes at the classroom level, at the interim benchmark level, or in terms of annual assessment. Now, it is the case that the focus of our work in classroom assessment focuses on teachers' use formatively and summatively in that context. And I want to describe for you in a little bit more detail what that means. So, for example, in the classroom on a day-to-day basis, when a teacher is using assessment to support learning, it's generally a continuous process of using student-involved assessment for practice. That is, to help students get better at something before being held accountable for it, to inform decisions made both by students and by their teachers, with the mission of helping students progress up the scaffolding leading to each standard. So our point here is that at the classroom level of assessment, the assessment matter is not merely about who is and isn't meeting standards. It's about using the assessment process and its results to help students master those standards before being held accountable for them. But it is also the case that teachers are responsible for using periodic assessments for accountability purposes to inform them, for example, about what report card grades students should achieve, or how to report student mastery of standards on standards-based report cards. Our point here is that in the classroom on a day-to-day basis, we can use it for both kinds of purposes. It's just that in any particular situation, we need to know which purpose is in play. In addition, then, once we have a clear sense of purpose, we've got to go to key number 2, which is a clear sense of the learning target. Now,